Central Bank of Nigeria disburses 23.2 billion naira to 28 firms on the 100 for 100 PPP scheme. NNPC sets machinery to lead Africa in transition to low carbon energy. AFEX seeks to raise $175 million to finance agro-processors in Africa. Asia-Pacific stocks rise as investors look ahead to Australia's rate decision. The program is Business Express, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. And I am Leakatan Babatunde. The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, says it generated more than 108 billion naira revenue in the last 4 years. Director General NIMASA Bashir Jamo said the agency generated more than 31 billion naira in 2020 and more than 37.5 billion naira last year. The agency generated 22.9 billion naira revenue in 2018 and over 16 billion naira in 2019. JAM also disclosed that the 37.5 billion naira generated last year was the highest ever contribution coming from NIMASA since its inception. And the federal government has urged contractors of the Lekki Deep Sea Port project to speed up work to meet the deadline for the completion of the project. This is to enable the government to approve all the necessary processes before the next election.
Our building with the container area, we want a situation where everything can be synergized in terms of having a full automation.
Equipment is a separate package of procurement that we have already done. Within a couple of weeks, they will be put on a ship, erected and all. They'll come and sail here and be parked in front of the quay wall, so the equipment will get on the quay wall.
Lekki will also be able to take in more containers than some of the terminal operators we have. There will be more efficiency. When you digitalize system, it means that you have reduced human interference, human error.
The contractors had last week assured the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, that the ongoing project has reached 80% completion. The National Assembly says its instrument of oversight in the 2022 fiscal year will be rigid on revenue generation by ministries, departments and agencies of government. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, stated these at an interactive session between the Senate and heads of revenue-generating agencies.
Our government-owned enterprises can generate, in fact, I think, up to 3 trillion. If we remain with that mindset, that we can achieve that.
You need to come up with various forms of initiatives to broaden your sources of revenue and block as much as possible the perceived leakages.
Earlier, the Fiscal Responsibility Act is amended completely. That will give more fillip to the efforts of this parliament to earn more revenue, sir.
Any agencies that are partly funded by the federal government is to the extent that the federal government will pay their personnel and give them some subvention in the area of capital. Are expected to pay 80% of whatever they accrue to them as operational surplus into the coffers of the government.
The Central Bank of Nigeria has unveiled the first batch of beneficiaries of the 100 for 100 policy on production and productivity that targets 100 benefiting bankable projects every 100 days in the real sector. The governor of the Central Bank on the occasion also disclosed a new foreign exchange bidding regime to ease market pressure. A promise made, 25th October 2021 now being fulfilled. 28 applications valued at 23.2 billion naira out of the more than 243 applications received so far have succeeded in the first batch of the 100 for 100 policy on production and productivity. The companies have so far proven to have solutions to some major socio-economic issues confronting the country.
Our task is to make sure that we jumpstart our people from rearing cattle in the way of 1960 to in the way of 2020.
Instead of starch going out as waste now, we are going to gain more, slightly more.
A large proportion of young persons are either unemployed or underemployed. Minister of Labour sees the policy as a solution to youth restiveness.
We don't want to export our jobs. We want to create the jobs in here, do the manufacturing and reduce the raw materials that are imported here. So we are behind the program, the 100 for 100, and we will encourage it, especially with our productivity center. Our productivity center will get involved now and help the CBN.
We are committed to it because we think that it is only one way through which we can truly grow this economy. It is only one way through which we can create jobs for our people. It is only one way through which we can reduce imports, stimulate exports for the good of our people and the good of the country.
The broad and specific objectives of the policy are well thought out, and if properly implemented, will achieve its set purpose.
The beneficiaries comprise 14 from the manufacturing sector, 12 from agriculture and 2 from the healthcare sector. 7 banks received the checks on behalf of the applicants who were present to finalize modalities. From February 1, the portal opens for fresh applications. And so how much is the Naira exchanging for other currencies? The coronavirus pandemic had its impact on a great number of persons that live by the day. Next is our Surviving COVID-19 series with Grace Sunday.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
My name is Grace Sunday. So I've started the business since how many years? I just use and manage myself. So time of lockdown now, they just manage flower, they manage them. So as the market they move. So just they manage ourselves. Continue, small until after the lockdown, we still continue manage our life. They go small. Coronavirus in short, it affects well because market the day. To come out for road now, no they see motor, nowhere to go, just the inside room. So the stubbornness, no the one, no the two. And God help us to pass everything.
You didn't hear about the targeted credit facility that are given to small businesses?
No, ma.
So which one did you hear about?
Ma, they say they break, ma. I do my small go, carry water. I don't hear anything, ma.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
So apparently we still have a lot of work to do with the number of persons, amazingly, that have not heard about the targeted credit facility and any other facility that is available. AFEX, Nigeria's commodities market player, says it is planning to raise $175 million as it reopens its $240 million assets-backed commercial paper targeted at offering agro-processors low-cost financing to bridge the funding gap between lenders and borrowers. The new funding target is the second in a 3-year commercial paper program that started in the last quarter of 2021 and saw the sum of $65 million raised during the period in its attempt to ensure adequate supply of funds in the Nigerian agriculture sector. It said it is seeking to raise an additional $175 million to allow for processors to borrow in the commercial paper markets. Chief Executive Officer AFEX Ayodeji Balogun pointed out that the exchange has a strong track record in offering distinctively differentiated and innovative financial instruments to the marketplace, noting that the new asset-backed commercial paper will help bridge the gap between agro-processors and investors, especially as access to low-risk funding and capital is critical to empowering Africa to feed herself. Gold prices were flat on Tuesday as a weaker dollar countered concerns about potential interest rate hikes, while investors waited for a slew of economic data to gauge the strength of global economies. Let's now take a trip to the commodities market. The NNPC Limited says it has set the necessary machineries to lead Africa in transition to low-carbon energy and renewables. Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Melikari, who stated these in a lecture titled Energy Transition and Energy Accessibility, the New Paradigm, said the company is deepening natural gas utilization under the National Gas Expansion Program. He added that NNPC is currently extending natural gas infrastructure backbone from Ajaokuta in Kogi State to Kano through Abuja and Kaduna under the AKK gas pipeline project. This mega pipeline will be fed by both Escravos Lagos pipeline system and Obiafu Obricom Oben gas pipelines through Oben Node in Edo State and deliver to BSCF of natural gas to power plants and industrial off-takers along Abuja, Kaduna and Kano, while reiterating that Nigeria and other African countries must leverage technology and innovation to facilitate energy access and transition. He said the need to leverage technology and innovation had become compelling so as to support energy sufficiency, industrialization, job creation and economic growth. Oil prices edged higher on Tuesday, trading near 7-year highs hit last week as investors bet supplies will stay tight with limited production hike by major oil producers and a strong post-pandemic recovery in fuel demand. Brent crude for April delivery was up 14 cents at $89.40 a barrel. The front-month contract for March delivery expired on Monday at $91.21 cents a barrel, up 1.3%. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude rose 13 cents to $88.28 a barrel, having gained 1.5% in the previous day. Nigeria Export Promotion Council (NEPC) commits to promoting non-oil export, wraps up its 50 billion naira export expansion facility program. The scheme, which is focused on increasing Nigeria's volume of trade to global market, is part of economic sustainability plan.
About a year ago, and consultants were engaged to kickstart the program. And it was a 1 year, they had a 1 year duration. And so today marks the end of that 1 year of their duration. And so they are handing over the program to NEPC, and NEPC will move on and monitor, evaluate, supervise, and implement the rest of the program?
I think it's been an incredibly successful program. But what you have to remember is that they only had 12 months. They were able to make incredible impacts across so many export goals.
Well, we go on a short break and Business Express returns shortly. Well, it's not every day you get to have an emir in the studio with you, and I'm happy to announce that we now have present in the studio His Royal Highness Abbas Tafida. He is the emir of Muri, and of course he was at the 100 for 100 PPP event yesterday, and he will be giving us more information on providing practical solutions to socio-economic challenges for growth. You're welcome, Your Highness, to the
Thank you, madam, or my daughter.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Yes, sir. You're a beneficiary of the 100 for 100 PPP.
Yes, my company.
Yes, sir. So, what did you do to get to be among the first people? What did your company do?
Well, first of all, I thank you for the interview. My company is an innovator in the livestock and overall agricultural industry. As an emir, I am at the forefront of the local clashes and all problems of drives and this. And from there, I realized somebody like me must take the initiative to create a solution for the country. And the initiative is, I identified the issues before the livestock industry in the country. The first issue, of course, is the ignorance of my brother Fulanis. You need knowledge in order to benefit from knowledge. And with the high level of illiteracy, with the high level of ignorance, accessibility to modern developments is limited. So I decided the fastest way to teach is to set an example. And therefore, I, as an emir, I decided to also become a businessman in the agricultural industry in order to do what is supposed to be done today, so that my remaining Fulani brothers will learn as fast as possible. And second, to create the credibility in me and in the leadership of the Fulani, so that when we speak, the others will listen. The major issues in the livestock industry today, as I started, is the ignorance of the Fulani, who control almost 70%, if not 80% of the meat and sheep production. Second is the malutilization of land. We must utilize land efficiently. And to utilize land efficiently, the first step is to increase it. And the fastest way to increase land, you don't create it, is to introduce irrigation. So I set up to become an irrigation expert so that I can double the land available. Second is the feed, fodder. So I went to research both in Nigeria and outside and developed and started implementing the best fodder for our country. And they are Super Napier, which we got from India and Thailand, Paradoa, which we got from Brazil, Burgu, which is our local grass that has very high protein. And second, of course, pasture must go with irrigation. It must also go with agriculture overall, because you need to do whatever you do in planting maize, in planting grass. And therefore, I developed also a complete agricultural team. And with this complete agricultural team now, I am confidently in the position to set up the best example for all Nigerians, not just my tribe. One of the problems I did not mention in the agriculture is the fact that the rest of the tribes simply think that it's only Fulani that rear cattle. Simply because what the Fulanis are doing that is wrong, most know that they cannot do it. They cannot carry cows and start moving and sleeping in the bush. So I also introduced packaging silage, delivering silage to cattle farms, so that you can, a beautiful young lady can run a small livestock unit, receive her grass, feed the grass in a respectable environment. It will not affect her dress, it will not affect her beauty. She will still be a respectable standard lady, and she will still be a cattle rearer.
Is it working?
If it is not working, I wouldn't have been winning prizes.
Oh, yeah.
But now you are in interview, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So, how do you see this affecting or impacting the whole social space of Nigeria economically now?
First of all,
yes.
I will start by saying the only thing that was missing, this creative, brilliant central bank governor has initiated it.
Which is?
Which is driving finance to people with brain. So that we combine the finance and the brain and create results. Of course, that's not the first time the first central bank supported me. 12 years ago, they gave me 1 billion, which I paid correctly and on time from the products of the visit. So now it is neither a surprise nor that much of a lack, in my own case at least, because I am sure of what I am up to, I am sure of what I am doing, and I know the country needs it.
But you've just touched something now that shows that you already have a very, very fantastic credit line with you, because you repaid what they gave you
of course,
so many
yes.
years
I
back.
don't just have fantastic credit line. I have fantastic continuous income from a productive system. And that's what every businessman is supposed to aim and achieve.
Okay, so yesterday you also made a mention of businesses expanding through this which you are doing. For instance, you gave an example yesterday that in the middle belts you would want to see slaughterhouses so that we don't have to transport
Right, the program
animals.
again, madam, I will divide it into two.
Okay.
First of all, business expanding. The first area is when we complete the diagnostic lab and the embryo transfer lab, we will be able to produce breeding animals that anybody can buy and start breeding and start producing milk. As of today, you want to start producing milk, you go back to the Fulani cow. With 2 liters per day, you can never make profit. So we aim to produce cows that give at least 15 liters per day. And we aim to ensure that the cost of producing milk does not exceed 100 naira per liter. And the cost of selling milk properly packed in the supermarket does not exceed 200. Today, you don't even get it. What you get is a milk powder produced somewhere, you don't know even what is the content. You have seen it in China. They will take the powder from anything and simply put milk smell on the powder and sell to you. So the overall objective, first of all, in this, is to create a new life for the Nigerian buyer. That is one part. The second part, you look at it mathematically. I mean, the cow is a living thing. What you need is not the life of the cow, it's the meat of the cow. So if you carry the live cow, you are carrying the water is taken, you are carrying the waste, you are carrying everything, and they are living things. They are supposed to be treated with certain limit of respectability and comfort. So if you total all this, you find that there is no place on earth except our dear Africa where you transport slaughtered animals over 2,000 kilometers, 1,500 kilometers. The maximum is supposed to be some reasonable number of kilometers just to the slaughterhouse. And you are supposed to create respectable standard vehicles that could comfortably transport these cows under legally accepted moral standards, not just the standards of law. So the second part of our idea is, after producing the correct cow for milk, we are also working on to produce the correct cow for beef. The best African cow for beef is the Gaundere Gudali, our neighbors in Cameroon. You may not believe. We are far more educated than them, but because they are more committed to common sense, they have ended up with better cows than us. But you see, I am Emir Omuri, I am Fulani. One of my brothers is also in Emir in Cameroon. So we have no borders, we have no limits. Our cooperation is 100%. So I have brought in, and I will continue to bring in the Gaundere Gudali and breed them with Senepal. Senepal is a breed of cattle that was already produced in Jamaica by a cross of Dama. And Dama again is a Nigerian cow from Chad that was taken to Jamaica and crossed with the Limousin to produce the Senapol. So now we are bringing the Senapol to cross with the Gaundere Gudali and our local Bokolo and give them correct food and produce good quality meat. At my mathematical level, a kilo of meat today in the market is 2,000 to 2,500 naira. I am going to, God willing, be producing a kilo of meat at 600 naira. That means the Nigerian in another 2, 3, 4, 5 years is going to pay less for meat and he's going to get better meat. The next thing is what I said is the mathematical factor. That is, you have enough land all through the north. And the biggest land, in fact, is the Middle Belt. And where is the Middle Belt? You cross from Kogi, Benue, Taraba, but in my own choice, we need to relate the movement of meat and the market. So the biggest market for meat is Lagos. And the nearest place with enough land to Lagos is Ilorin and Kogi State. Okay, Kogi State is the nearest to the east. So we are establishing the abattoirs at the center so that the cost of moving the meat is also further reduced. And the cost of moving the live cattle is also further reduced. And we are going to be a Nigerian company. We are going to create value in every part of Nigeria. We are going to be, if I succeed, the best citizen of the country.
Okay, thank you,
Yes.
His Royal Highness. I'm told we don't have any more time left, and so in fact we're going to end the program here. I've been speaking with the Emir of Muri, Abbas Tafida. Business Express returns tomorrow. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
The debate for or against orthodox or traditional medicine has for a long time remained a trendy one. But is there really a dichotomy between them? When should one embrace one in place of the other? Can there truly be a synergy between them for our good health? The thoughts are huge, but you can find expression and answers on Wednesday, 2nd February 2022 on our ever vocal yet focused platform, Conversations, as two renowned pharmacists and trado medical practitioners